Hello, welcome to the Design Masterclass with Natalia Coleman. Now, Natalia, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Tell everybody at home exactly what it's all about today.
Well, today is all about mixing media. I've had my eye on the sari silks for ages since we launched it, and I really fancy combining it with a bit of copper clay and putting some gemstones in there as well. So it's a true mixed media design masterclass today.
I know so many of us have been super excited about this. When you think about Sheila and Linda, particularly Sheila, she does like to put a lot of lace with different stuff, which is amazing. We know Gemma does the same with mix.
Yeah.
And now Natalia, I absolutely adore what you've done with sari silks. Now, what I've noticed in comparison to different sari silk pieces that we've seen before is how you take more of a neat edge to yours, because you know, every designer is different. Some designers like to ruffle the hair of things, and you have really brought an element of neatness and togetherness, and you admit yourself your OCD when it comes to tidiness. You've got what did you say it was earlier? How did you word it better than I just said? But you are kind of, you've got this controlling.
I do like everything just so. Yes, I do. I'm always straightening cushions.
Control freak, I think you called yourself.
I think that one might refer to me as that.
Others might say you're a control freak.
A few ex-boyfriends might say that.
No, but it's nice, you know, a perfectionist. That's what you called yourself, not a control freak.
That's a more positive way of describing me. Thank you, Jenny.
Perfectionist, not control freak.
Yes, exactly.
Now, we were talking earlier about buttons, and you said, I've made buttons. I love this. It's just outstanding. I just adore what you've done. We are, of course, going to be bringing you the essentials to be recreating what Natalia, the wonderful Natalia, has created today. So, without further ado, I am going to give to you the main toolkit. I'm just going to go over here and grab this. Natalia, talk to us about which piece you first came across.
Okay, well, when I looked at the sari fabric, there's two different types of fabric. There's some silks, so it's a little squares of silk, and then there's also some ribbons. And the ribbons I thought would be wonderful for using as stringing tools for the copper clay, but also as turning into flowers, because I really love my flowers. I love working with textiles, and I love the colour in this pack that we have for you today. But I also love the colour of the copper clay, because I worked with silver for quite a long time, and it was just such a really refreshing change to have the copper and bronze clay brought into my life, and combining it with the really vibrant Indian silk colours is just fantastic.
Where does your design background begin, Natalia? Is there a particular niche that you started off with? Was it perhaps interior design? Was it in textiles?
Well, it was textiles, and my journey of design started at a very young age. I would say about 3 years old, so maybe younger than most, I don't know.
Really?
I do remember. My earliest memory is sitting helping my mom, because she used to make all our clothes, and she made her own clothes, not because she had to, but because she was really clever like that. And so I would be cutting patterns out for her. I'd be putting pins in, and so she taught me a lot of stuff about working with textiles, and it's my first love, I think.
So you grew up around textile, which is important actually, because it means Natalia has got an eye for the textiles. It also means she's got passion, and of course she's got the knowledge. Not particularly from, but I know that you have studied these things, but more from experience. Just, I mean, from a young age, it does count for so much. Now, with your starter kit, I'm going to give to you not the sari silks first, but the metal clays. Now, you know that I am a huge fan of metal clay. I just think if you want to feel like a professional jeweler, if you want to feel like a silversmith, then this is your medium. Speaking to a Sunday workshop lady last Sunday, she told me that the thing about precious metal clay is how incredibly easy it was. I know it takes a little bit of time, but in no way is it as intricate as something like chainmail. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, chainmail, rah, 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 this is so much easier, and I love it. Rah, rah, rah. They're laughing at me in my ever-rahing.
I know, well, those are the kind of noises you make. I'll purr occasionally when I'm making metal clay jewellery.
Indeed. Now, bronze we have, and copper we have. We're going to show you the difference between the two, although I'm thinking you probably are putting two and two together, not two to two together. two. So your Prometheus clay, you get 100 grams. Now, it will burnish down to a little bit less than 100 grams. You lose about 8%, don't you?
You use a bit less. It's about 5% actually with copper and bronze
silver
clay.
is 8.
Yeah, silver is about 8.
Wonderful.
6
Brilliant.
to 8%.
Pickling, which is great for you finishing off, so it will get that shiny, I like to say C-3PO finish, you know, in Star Wars where he goes to get his medal and he's uber shiny.
Yeah, well, it gets rid of all of the oxidization because copper and bronze indeed is 90% copper. It has this oxidization that happens when it's heated up to a certain point, and so you get this funny crusty layer, and that's a fruit acid. So it's nice and safe. You could actually put your hands into the solution if it wasn't too hot, and it wouldn't burn your skin. And what that does is it acts on the metal and it takes that oxidized layer away. So it's a fantastic product.
So you get the C-3PO shine.
Well, you would have to shine it after.
You buff it afterwards,
yes, you would. You get there eventually.
I always wanted to get in the hot oil bath like he did. Anyway. We're not at Obi-Wan Kenobi's house now. Now you get your cards. Now your cards are perfect for layering, keeping that perfect layer. Now if you stack the same amount of cards either side, they're not just for poker, producer Scott. You stack the cards either side of each other, same amount, you get the perfect thickness. Here you can see, so if you put your clay here, use your clay roller, you'll always get that perfect thickness. And with that said, I have the clay roller for you here. You get the clay balm. I'm obsessed with this stuff. Debbie Bolford's fed up with me putting my finger in hers because I'm always like, ooh, give me some lip balm. Have a look.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Put this on your fingers when you're manipulating the clay. Put a little bit of it on your roller just to stop it sticking. Just ever such a tiny bit. Don't go mad. It lasts forever. Not forever, but I haven't run out yet. A long time. Now you also get, now this is for your detailed pieces. It's your acrylic, I call it buffer, but that's not the actual word for it.
It's an agate burnisher. And so what it does is it polishes certain parts of the piece of finished jewellery. So after it's fired, you would use this.
So it's not for cutting or shaping or anything like that. It's literally for getting in. You know, if you've got little grooves, really getting in there, getting those little bits out, making that C-3PO shine. Now, you've also got your acrylic sheet. It's just got some, there we go, let's take that off. Talk to me, why do I need this acrylic sheet, Natalia, darling?
Well, it's brilliant for, I showed in the last masterclass for making a level on moulds. It's great for rolling coils of clay, and you can use it to make in ring making as well.
You've also got your heat-proof mat. Important?
It's Teflon, so you know you can transport pieces that are waiting to be dried. You can put them in a warm place. It's not going to melt. It's also good for rolling your pieces out onto because it doesn't stick. You know, the clay doesn't stick to it. Great
if you're using other mediums like resin or not resin, jewel enamel and things like that.
Yes,
that you need to
definitely.
Heat up.
Yeah.
You've got your wet and dry buffers. Do you use yours wet or dry? Because I've used polymer clay and one's dry, one's wet.
Yeah.
I get confused.
Use them dry at the stage before you fire your pieces. So while the clay is proper clay, you would use them dry. And then when you fired your pieces, you need to wet them because you're using it to refine the fired piece. So you don't want to scratch it, you want to polish it. Right, okay, fine. So, and then you've got your tweezers here for picking up. When you've actually, do you get gauze in here or not in this one? You don't, because you can only fire these pieces on a heat block with a gas torch. Right, which we're going to bring you in a bit. Yeah. So this is from transferring from the block to perhaps your heat-proof mat. You've then, of course, got your brush. I took one of these home to use on the Joddy boots. I tell you what, that's a sturdy bristle, that is. Now, it's a sturdy bristle. Now, what I love is you get your brush as well and your cutter. So you've got your cutter in there and you've got your brush. Now this brush is invaluable because you fill it up with water, and if your clay ever in little parts dries out a little bit and you want to manipulate it, you just literally dab it on a little bit like an under eye concealer. Yes, girls. A little bit like that. Yes, you use it for smoothing and joining two pieces together. So we're going to use that in the demos today. Oh good, so we'll see exactly what it's all about. Then, I might have seen these in the day show today, something similar. Did you get the case? You haven't got a photo of case though, have you? This says studio sample did not remove. That's directed at me. Yes, exactly. It's directed at me as well because I'm always pinching things out of there. Stop. You do not get the torch with this, do you? You do.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was a separate bundle.
No.
So have a look, because you also get this glass cabinet display case with it all in. Now, I can't believe this. Have we always done this together?
Yes, we have, and because you really need it. And so what the starter kit is all about is getting you started. So you don't have to go out and buy other things.
No.
You've got everything you need, apart from the gas, because we can't sell gas.
You can get them in that high street chemist.
Yes, you can.
Because they're the same ones I use for my hair tongs.
Okay, all right.
These are also great for the topping off your creme brulees.
Yes, maybe leave a little bit further distance between your creme brulee than you would your metal.
Yes, of course. They don't call me Nigella Cleary at all. LLG, C70, all of this. I can't believe you're getting the blowtorch and the block. This is incredible. Your Prometheus bronze clay, 100 grams, that's ever such a lot. Pickling, you got that whole packet of that 150 grams. You've got your gas torch. I'm so excited that you have that. 3 of your wet and dry buffers, your Teflon sheet, your mini roller, your wire brush, your pack of playing cards. You can have a game of rummy whilst you're at it. Prometheus copper clay, 100 grams. Clay balm, I love that stuff. Your water brush, your plastic tweezers, your agate burnisher, your snake roller, and your firing brick. And of course, full instructions. All of this for a very weeny wee price tag of just £64 a night. Do you know, it would make such a wonderful Christmas present.
Yes,
it really would.
It does, yeah.
If you've got any friends out there who's thinking, or maybe you're beading buddies and you're thinking, oh, do you know what, I'd love to try a new medium. You've got to try this. It's wonderful, 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 especially if you're selling your jewellery on, because this, I think, is marketable jewellery. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, and you know that these metals have become much more popular, they're very in fashion, so we're just so much more used to seeing them. To be able to make your own pieces from scratch to the designs that you want is absolutely, it's the icing on the cake for me.
It is. I agree with you. Now, this is why I've always loved it, because I think there's a massive sense of pride in actually creating your own precious metal finding of any kind. A big chunk, a big ring, the pendant that you've done here. I just think it's ever so professional. So if that's what you want from jewellery making, if this is it for you, you must get involved. Doesn't this look incredible? It belongs in a shop window. Now, Natalia, without further ado, because we've been gassing for 15 minutes, let's get cracking.
Shall we go on? Shall we make something?
Let's do it. I'm going to give you the sari. Oh, Scott's going, wait, they need the sari silk. Oh, Scott, I know.
Well, we could have done it later. We're going to do the copper now, and then we could have done that
Let's do that, Natalia.
Shall we do that? Yes. Shall we just leave a little something for later on?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Now, off you go. Time's a wasting.
All right. So you get 2 packs of 100 grams of the metal clay. So 100 grams of copper clay, 100 grams of bronze clay. And what I've used for these pieces is, just not to confuse you, I'm using copper clay today. Okay. But it's the same kind of principles for conditioning the clay for both clays.
Whereas it varies with silver clay, so...
It does, yes.
Copper and bronze are the same.
So you can see the difference on the packets, you can see the difference in the colour. So you get a much more kind of salmony pink look to your pieces with the copper clay. Yes. And with the bronze clay, you get this more golden finish. And the bronze clay, the reason why you have that different finish is because 10% of it is tin and 90% of it is copper. So it's the tin that gives it that look.
Oh, I see.
So what you would do before you start doing anything is to open your clay up and to pinch off the amount of clay that you want to work with. Okay. So don't start trying to work with the whole block of.
Can I add on if I haven't got enough?
Of course you can, yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't want it to over dry or to dry out, so I just work in batches of clay as I go along. What I've done is I've triple wrapped some cling film, so I've just taken a sheet of it and folded it over 3 times, so it's nice and strong.
There's a reason you do that, and you told me something I never knew.
Well, it gets weaker because it's quite thin. It's also porous.
This is what I didn't know.
Yeah, you need to triple wrap
film
it.
has teeny weeny holes in it.
It has, tiny. If you've got a microscope, you'd be able to see the holes, like our faces, little pores.
Never knew.
And so what I've done is I've taken the clay, and when it comes out of your packet, I'm going to just show you my packet that I opened up earlier on. It has this crumbly, almost biscuity type appearance. You can see it's quite crackly, and it's not
a little bit brittle.
Terribly great to work with. So what we need to do is we need to condition it before we get going. And so I use some liquid glycerin, and this costs about £1. This jar's absolutely covered in gunge.
Just from that regular High Street Chemist, the one beginning with B.
Excuse the, it's got absolutely covered in glycerin because it just poured out of my bag the other day.
Glycerin's quite good for your skin, isn't it?
It's really good. It's good to use it in cooking as well. Oh. But you want the unscented glycerin, so just unscented, pure glycerin. And then pop a few drops of glycerin, so we're only talking about 3 or 4 drops, onto your clay, and then get your rolling pin, and between the cling film just roll it in, fold it over, roll it in, and then get it out between your hands, knead it until you end up with
a dough.
Yeah, like a dough. So you end up with something that looks a little bit like gingerbread dough. So it's nice and smooth, and you want this smooth
do we have to talk about food? We've just stuffed our faces.
We always talk about food, don't we?
Yeah.
So we always have to have a food analogy, and in this case it's gingerbread, but don't eat it because it doesn't.
Gingerbread.
I can guarantee the copper does not taste very nice. And always, always, always wash your hands before you eat or drink when you're doing this, because the metal can go inside your body, and I don't think it comes out, so it's not.
And it tastes not great. It's like when you accidentally taste coins.
It doesn't taste good. I can vouch for that. Okay, so
I love it. You accidentally taste coins when you do when you're little, don't you?
Yeah,
You've all tasted a coin.
You put things in your mouth, don't you?
I've eaten God knows what.
Okay, so what I've done is I've set up my little workstation here with a piece of Teflon that comes in the starter kit. So this can wipe down, you can use it again and again, you can use it across all of the clays, as long as you just have a baby wipe and wipe it clean. And then I've got playing cards sellotaped together, so I've got 6 playing cards taped together. I'll actually remove that.
Now, why have you taped them?
Just so that they don't move around.
Okay.
It's just easier.
Keep them there where they are.
They will move.
Bind them down.
Because it's live TV, and you say something won't do something, and then it always does. What I'm doing is I'm rolling, and then I'm moving my clay because I want to get it to a certain shape. So if you just keep rolling, you're going to end up with a long rectangle of clay, and if that's the shape that you're going for, then that's fine. So once you get to a certain point, your cards will stop you from rolling any further, and then you can see you have a nice even batch of clay that's rolled out. And what you're looking for is a nice smooth texture that generally there are no cracks in there. If there are cracks, then scrunch it up, maybe add a little bit more glycerin.
What about my water? Would I add my water at the cracking, or is it better to go with glycerin at this stage?
Best to go with glycerin, simply because the water can make it a little bit lumpy, I've found.
Oh, okay.
And you have to do a lot of kneading, and it tends to dry up quicker, so the glycerin tends to keep it in this lovely supple condition.
Fab.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make the centres for our ribbon roses, for the ones that I made for the necklace, for the sari.
So they're like buttons, aren't they?
They are like buttons.
Could I use these as buttons, perhaps to sort of sew into a blazer or something like that?
If you wanted to, absolutely you could. And you get a lot of buttons out of 100 grams of 100-gram pack of clay. And I'm using a cutter. I'm not sure what the size of this is, so I'm just going to get my trusty. I've got a trusty little ruler in here.
Where have you gone?
Out earlier. Sorry about that. I'm coming back. I'm just looking for my
ruler. She's like Debbie McGee. Come on, there she is. Come back.
Here we are. The graphics are great for hiding you, aren't they? So this is 1 inch. This cutter, an inch diameter. Okay.
Do you buy them in inches? Do you?
Well, you get a set of them.
Oh, okay, so you
different sizes.
Okay, fine.
So this is so I call that a medium circle.
Okay.
And then obviously we have smaller ones.
We don't have to worry too much if ours isn't exactly 1 inch. It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter. You cut it to the size that you want, but just so if you want to repeat exactly what I'm doing,
the exact same thing. Okay.
So I just pushed the cutter in and twisted it from side to side, and then pull that out. I'm also going to cut a small one.
Oh.
So that's about half the size, so it's about half 1 inch. And I put a little bit of balm on there as well, just to make sure it doesn't stick.
Just for gliding.
Yeah. So whilst you've got this big expanse of clay, you could cut a few shapes out at this point. I'm not going to, I'm just going to do those 2 just to show you. So these are 2 different centres, one for the necklace and one for the little ring that I showed you earlier on.
Obviously, I've got to try that on, Natalia.
You have got to try that on, and you're such a good ring model as well.
I know.
So that one, let me show you how I did that first of all. So you can see it's almost like a little a triangle shape, isn't it?
It reminds me of a rosette, this.
Yeah.
I like that.
Fun,
I can see this
it?
again. I can see this on blazers with some ribbon.
Definitely. I didn't do the brooches because that's kind of the obvious thing, and I thought let's make a ring
brooch obsessed. I
instead.
love these earrings as well. Anyhow.
So what I've done is that small circle, you'll see the centre of that flower is a little triangle shape. Well, that started life as the circle. That was 1/2 inch.
Okay.
And all I did was I just folded up the edges like that. Can you see?
Yeah.
To make like this.
Like a little pirate's hat.
Yeah, and that's all I did. Just to make it interesting. And that's the centerpiece for that ring. So it's as simple as that. Let me show you.
How cute is that? And then I noticed that you've got holes in here, like buttonholes.
Yeah.
Do you create those at this point, or am I getting ahead of myself?
Well, you can do it at this point, and you can do it at the dry clay stage. So if I do it at this point to show you what you would do.
Which is the easiest thing to do, Natalia?
Well, it depends. It depends. If you've got a really good little screwdriver, little pin vise, then you don't have a problem. If you don't, then you know you're better off making
doing it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's easy at the beginning.
It is easy at the beginning. And what I've done is I need to take into consideration that I'm going to sew this onto the centre of my flower. Ooh. So we need buttonholes. I also decided to put a gemstone in the centre, mounted on a head pin.
Yes.
So I want 3 holes. So what I'm going to do is that's my buttonhole, my first one there, just in that corner.
So just with a cocktail stick?
Just with a cocktail stick
Have
all
you
the way
had to
through.
put the balm on there or the glycerine or anything like that?
No, not at all. So 2 holes there. You can see that's my buttonhole. And then this is the hole for my little gemstone that's going in the middle, that's going to be mounted on the head pin. It's as simple as that.
So it's about planning ahead. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah. And so what I would do then is I would set this aside to dry. I always, I do what I call speed drying, so I make sure that I speed the process along, I put it in a warm place, and I usually, if you don't have hot plates, I use a hot plate for my workshop, which is like a hostess catering type tray. But you can just put it on some Teflon in a cake tin in the oven and about 80 degrees. So that would be like your half setting if you have a gas oven. If you have an Aga or anything arranged like that, then usually it's nice and warm in there anyway. So you look like the kind of lady that would have an Aga or a range.
I have got an Aga.
Yes, I knew. I looked at you there and I thought, she's got an Aga.
I use it mainly to hang clothes that are drying on there.
It's a working thing.
I love to bake, actually. I absolutely love it's my thing, baking cakes.
Is it?
I love it.
Lovely. Okay, so back to the larger circle. So what I did with the larger circle is I mounted this on top of a domed object. So I used doorknobs to create dome shapes. You can also put this on top of an egg and just leave it.
I have lots of eggs.
Yeah, you know, so the egg, you have a sort of steeper dome at the top, and then you have a broader dome at the bottom.
Well, our chickens are laying all different sizes at the moment.
Well, then you choose the egg of your choice.
This is perfect.
You want a nice steep dome on it.
A new use for chickens.
Set that aside to dry, and leave it for at least half an hour to air dry. And what will happen is it will form a shape. So it will stay in that shape, and then you can just pop it off and pop it into your tray in the oven and then speed dry it.
When we were doing the Silver Clay Master Class last week, we saw how to actually use the doorknobs, didn't we? We did have that. So if you're thinking, oh, how do I do that? Go and check out that last. Was it a master class? It was a master class, not a DVD, wasn't it?
It was a master class.
Check it out on YouTube. Okay, my darling, take it away.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I've got a piece here that I've actually allowed to dry. So you'll see the dome shape. It's nice and rounded.
And it's kind of is it dry totally now? Or?
It's totally dry. That's had 24 hours. Yes, it is. And I always think it looks like a piece of, you know, like a plant pot. That's the kind of ceramic.
Yeah, absolutely. Like terracotta-ish.
Terracotta, yeah. So at this stage, you can see that I got my clay in a really nice consistency because there's no cracks on it or anything.
And that's really because of the way you've left it?
Because I added the glycerin and because I conditioned the clay really well, so it's in good shape. And then what I need to do is I need to bevel the edges to make them, because you can see on the pieces that I made on the necklace, that the edges are quite...
they're very neat.
Yes, and that's something that the longer that you spend at this stage doing these things, refining and shaping, then you'll get the look that you absolutely want. before you fire it.
And Natalia, just going back just a step, you just said that you left this to dry 24 hours. Is that how long?
No.
How long exactly should I be? Yours has been left for 24 hours, but you don't have to leave it for 24 hours. How long exactly do I need to leave it if I'm at home?
I would leave it at least 3 hours if you're speed drying it.
Right,
if you're not, if you're leaving it at room temperature, then you need to leave it for 24 hours.
Okay.
And maybe longer, because you've added, don't forget you've added glycerin, so you've added liquid to the clay. So give it longer. Don't be in a rush with this, but if you are in a rush, then speed drying is the way that you need to do it.
So we're going to go through the next step, and then I'm going to give to you your sari silk. So take it away again, Natalia.
Okay, so to get that beveled edge that looks so attractive, and it gives it that manufactured look, which is what I like. I like these to look as though that they're bought in a shop. So I'm using, we get some emery boards in the starter kit,
Yes, we do.
We?
Yes, we do. Three of them.
This is my emery board from home. I don't use it for my nails anymore.
Just a regular emery board.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm using the roughest side because this clay is really tough, especially because we rolled it so thick. We rolled it 6 cards.
I thought you were going to sculpt it with a knife, actually. Go around it with a knife, but you're not.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
If it's still a little bit damp, you can do that.
All right.
So all I'm doing is, and Jenny loves this, it sets her teeth and her whole body on edge when I do this. So if you have a look, you can see that when I've done that, it's creating a neater edge on it.
Oh gosh, actually, I thought you'd been there for ages. That's very quick.
It happens very quickly. So it's really important that you don't have a Jenny Cleary at home when you're making these.
I can do it on myself.
You can
do it on myself. I can't listen to that if someone else is doing it. Oh, it's like chalkboards and jaws.
But there you go. So you're just going to keep on neatening it and keep on going around the edges to get that flat edge.
Have you finished doing that?
I have. I'm not going to subject you to that. And
makes your teeth go funny, doesn't it?
Use the sponge pad to go all around the back and get it nice and neat, because any little cracks and crevices, they will become more apparent when it's fired. Now I wanted to just show you...
If it does crack, is it a major problem? Will it have an overall effect on the finish?
It will look cracked, but you can always hide it. You could put a gemstone here and there and cover it up. But I prefer to not have that. You know, if I know it's in there.
She is she's an obsessive kind. So. An obsessive. She hoovers lines into a carpet.
I don't do that.
Like the lawn.
But it's a good idea. I really like that.
I like the idea of that too. But who has time?
I don't have time. Seriously,
I would love to do that.
Oh, you're funny. Okay, right. So I'm going to show you how to add your holes to a piece that I haven't actually put a pilot hole into before.
Okay, so you didn't cocktail stick this?
I didn't cocktail stick this.
This is just a regular reamer, right?
This is a reamer, and I've put a little collet in there, and I've got some little mini drill heads. So if you've got the JewelleryMaker reamer, then you'll be able to do this. And so what I do is, again, you can mark with a pencil if you want to. So I have a white pencil actually, so let's do this. So I'm going to need a hole in the centre, and all of my gemstones are going to go in the centre through different head pins, and then I need my button holes. So there you can see I've got my three holes where I need to drill, which does make life a lot easier. I'm always doing this in workshops where delegates are saying to me, where do I need to drill? And I come over with my pencil and do a little hole. It's like when you have cosmetic surgery, isn't it? I
wouldn't know.
I've watched these programmes. I haven't had any myself.
Listen, if I could, I'd have it all done. But my whole face would be white penciled.
So what I tend to do is, you can see how quickly that went through, but I start off with a much smaller drill bit than I need, and I work my way up, because I'd rather do that than break the piece of clay, because it's fragile at this stage.
The toolkit with the reamer that Natalia is using right now is on the bottom of your screen, BECR04, and the price tag for that, including this and many other tools, is $15.95. You get everything else that you need, tweezer tool, all tool-wise. Right, okay.
So I have a 1 mil size drill bit on there, and I'm just going to go through and make that hole a bit bigger, and that will be big enough for my wire to go through for my I'm going to stitch this on later, and so I'm making the holes big enough. So big enough for my head pin and big enough for the needle, the beading needle, to go through.
Is there any shrinkage when you fire up? Will these holes get smaller?
They will get slightly smaller, but because we've done 1 mil size drill bit, there won't be a problem.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I did with those pieces over there.
Okie dokes.
So that's what we have. So once you've done those and they are fully dry and you've refined and shaped them and you're really happy with them, the next stage is firing. So would you be able to pass me the fire brick? And I'm not going to demonstrate firing live. If you want to see firing, you can actually, sorry,
we're not allowed to have fire near me.
Or me.
You're allowed fire.
So what you would do is you'd pop your piece on the fire brick that comes with the starter kit.
Do I get to wear Wallace and Gromit style goggles here or not?
It's advisable to wear goggles because a little bit of flame does come off the piece once you start firing it, once you put the torch at it. So you don't want anything to go into your eyes. It's always best to protect
those. Yes, of course,
those.
of course.
You need to fill up your gas torch with gas. So you do that by turning it upside down, and there's a little they call it a nipple at the base of there, and that's what you would align your gas torch.
You could have thought of another word for that.
That's what they call it.
Oh, so it's that one. It's not the one that I put my. Oh, do you know those pound shops? Mm-hmm. You know what they're called? Clues in the title that I just said.
Yes.
You can get those in there to fill up.
Okay.
Gas.
Well, I do recommend you using a mixture of propane and butane gas.
Where do I get that from?
From DIY shops and camping shops, outdoor shops.
Okay, and one that is you can get them easily, right?
Yes,
okay.
and it fits
I thought it was.
this.
Oh, but I've got one that you put my tongs into. I've got one of those.
Okay, we'll have a look and see what the gases are in there.
I thought I got it from here.
Okay, so once you've filled your gas up, you turn the torch on, light the gas, and then you would leave a gap of about 2 to 3 inches away from the piece and just start to concentrate the flame on the piece. And you want it to be glowing a bright orange, or at least a poppy red is the colour that you need, and you need it to be glowing that colour for 10 minutes.
Okay. So you've got to stay there with it for 10 minutes.
Just circulate the flames to make sure the whole piece.
You get it's kind of mesmerising.
It is. It's really quite enjoyable after a while.
You do get in a daze of this amazing colour. It's great.
So that is the firing, and if you want to see the firing in action, I do demonstrate that on the Introduction to Metal Clay.
Yes, you do the DVD, £4.95. We did.
We did that together.
I remember we dimmed the lights. It was very exciting. £4.95. It's about to come on screen. Oh, it's there right now on screen for you. £4.45. There we go. There we go. Right, Natalia, at this point you've fired and all of the rest of it.
Yeah.
Where do I go now? Is it time to get the sari silks out?
It's time to get the sari silks out. Let's see them.
Now, I love sari silks, and whether you love Sheila's designs, which are more organic, or whether you love Natalia's, which are more collected and together, then you're going to love, maybe you like a combination of both. I certainly do. Then you're going to want this. And sari silks, I think, we launched these a couple of months ago. I love everybody's amazing Wall of Fame entries. Isn't it wonderful introducing fabric together with your jewellery making, just to give you another option, another design embellishment to your jewellery. And in fact, it doesn't have to be jewellery. You could be making anything else that you use genuine gemstones in. It could be handbags, anything that you like. So I'm going to give to you the ribbons. You get loads. How many did we count? I think it was literally meters and meters of this. Can you remember, Ben? We went all the way from the gallery over to the Wall of Fame.
I don't think I was here then.
You get a lot, though.
You get, I'm telling you, you get absolutely stacks. What was it, about 15 meters or something crazy? No, more than that, from there to there, wouldn't it? It was loads. It was loads. Now you're also going to get more polymer clay in here.
That's metal clay.
Metal clay. I meant metal clay.
We were talking about mixed media, and then people were thinking we're having polymer clay.
I didn't say it. Yeah, I meant it, but it didn't come out of my mouth. Let's have a look. So you got the clay in here as well. Sorry, Natalia. Hey up, it's upside down. Is that Ryan? Have a look. So you also get a up duck. You have got your sari silk bundle bag, which includes the ribbons and the squares, so you get the large pieces as well. Loads of different colours, loads of different patterns, and this is genuine Indian sari silk. It is from India. I like the polka. That's a bit country. Hey, Ben. Now look, Ben is looking very country today. I'd like to see him with a handkerchief coming out of his back pocket of this, please.
Cravat.
Yeah, there you go. Make yourself a cravat, my lad. There you go. How lovely you're going to look today, Ben. There we are.
Thank you.
Hand of Ben. He's very dapper today. We like his. We've dressed him well today, Natalia. No, he didn't. I inspired that outfit. I told him he had to come country when I was around. Now have a look. I didn't understand his Power Ranger ways. So all of this, and it goes ever such a long way. It really does. Isn't it lovely? Absolutely lovely to start using all of these different mediums. Now you also get, now Natalia's used this. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's called bezel wire.
Bezel wire.
Mm-hmm.
Could I go around the edge of like polymer clay and resin and things like that and create my own bezel?
You
then,
could,
if it's called
yes,
bezel
you could do
wire?
that. We're going to use it slightly differently here today, but yes, there are
I can see you've used it up here. Is that how we're using it today?
I used it at the back of the pendant with the green sari silk.
Oh,
That's the veil.
Yes. Yes, you did. Here, look.
So what you can do with this is you can actually embed it into the wet clay
Aha.
and fire it in place, and it all fuses together and you have a really strong connection.
This is clever stuff. So
Yeah.
listen, we've only got 20 minutes
I
left.
know,
Let's go.
we need to race on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make those lovely ribbon roses with the ribbons of sari silk. And this was inspired by the way it just fell on my table when I opened the pack up.
Wow. Do you know, I've just got to tell everyone it's $27.95.
Oh, so we didn't tell them the price, did we? It's fantastic. And for 2 packs of the clay
Isn't
and
that
the bezel wire.
Isn't this
and silk.
amazing? You're ever such a lot. You're making a £25 saving by tuning into this masterclass now.
That's
I
fabulous.
must say that. Ben, are you choking yourself there?
It's a little tight.
It's a little, yeah, take some more. I must say that you're getting excellent value for money here. 2 packs of the metal clays. You've got the 2 lots of sari silks and the bezel wire. Now the bezel wire, you get 1 metre of it. And it's all bronze. It's only available in this kit.
It's bronze, but when it's fired, you polish it up and it looks just like copper.
Does it really?
So you can keep it in its bronze state, brushed, or you can have it shiny and it looking like copper. So it's fantastic.
Okay, let's go.
So how to make the roses. First of all, you need a base for them, and I've just cut out a circle of this. Is just ordinary felt. You can buy felt everywhere. So you know, in
You can buy it.
little
Would
hobby
it be all right
places.
if I used my my felt backing for my foundation board? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So if I'm into soutache and I have foundation board right now, I can use that.
As long as if you're going to use glue, it doesn't really matter. If you can't get a needle and thread through it, it's fine. If you're going to sew like I am, then you need to be able to get your needle and thread through to test it out.
Which I can with
first.
foundation board because that's what it's all about with
Is it?
soutache.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I prefer sewing. You may think, oh, I don't want to go near a needle and thread, and that's fine too. So in that case, you would use a glue gun or some fabric glue, or you can even use tacky glue, which is like a white school glue, but it's very, very tacky and it sticks fabrics together.
Okay.
So I've just I've got a length of I'm just using black thread here because it seems to go really well with all of the fabrics, and just on an average size needle. There's nothing fancy about it, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to come up right through the middle of my little disc of felt, and I've put a knot in the bottom. So don't worry about what the back looks like because we're going to cover that up at the end. And then take your sari fabric. Now it all comes knotted together, so you do need to chop it off. So it
Like
comes
this, it comes in this
lengths
braid.
of, I think it's about 3/4 of a metre, the length when you actually cut them down. And you do get at least 2 of each colour. So you can do quite a big rose with these. With the ring, obviously, is a lot smaller, so you know you can get a couple of them. Okay, and so the way you start off is just at the end here. I'm going to secure it with a stitch. If you're using glue, then you would a dollop of glue onto your felt and then press that down. The thing with the sewing is you can get it done instantly. You don't have to wait for anything drying. And all I'm doing is, don't worry if you don't like sewing, because this is so simple. So simple. So just literally tacking. So you're just going to take it a stitch right through. My hands are really sticky because I've got balm all over them. So I've just secured that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to twist.
So you can glue this, yeah?
You can glue it, and I'm just taking it round, and then I'm going to take another needle up through the centre so that I catch this bit that I've just pressed down onto my felt.
You're not doing a fancy stitch, just
Nothing.
the one you learn at school, the inny outy stitch.
Just tacking, you know, do you remember you used to do tacking?
Absolutely, I can do that, yeah.
So in and out, and it doesn't even have to be that perfect and neat because the sari fabric, here you do that, my hands are so sweaty and sticky.
Trust. Sew a needle pulling thread. There, yeah?
Yeah. So just that you want to make sure it's in the centre though.
Well, you've got it all slippy, this needle.
I know. This is the hazards of working with metal clay and fabric at the same time in a masterclass. So look, if I can just bring it back. Yeah,
once I'm on a roll, I can't sew and not hum. It's like impossible. It's like eating a donut without licking your lips.
So what happens then is, as you keep twisting around, and you're going to go all the way around like that, you start to form this lovely rose. Yeah, this flower effect. And each time you add another piece of the silk, you're just going to take a tack stitch through. And you may want to go back over it.
I'm going to put you on that because we can't see you on that blackboard.
You may want to go back over it and make sure that it's secured in every way. So then I'm going to show you one that I made at home. So this is with a lovely emerald green.
Oh, I love that colour.
And some of them have actually got pattern on. So part of it had this lovely checker pattern, and that's incorporated into the design really beautifully. It is very Vivienne Westwood, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so that's what it looks like, and you can see it's a big mess on the back, but that doesn't matter.
Well, you're quite neat, aren't you? Mine would be all messy.
It's like a spider's web.
Yeah, you're good at that. mine wouldn't be like that, but it wouldn't matter anyway because you wouldn't see it.
And then at this stage, what you do is you take your piece of fired metal clay, and because you made a button, you're just sewing that into the centre, and adding some beads through that hole that you made. And because you've sewn it in place, it actually keeps the head pin pressed down on there, and that's lovely.
Wonderful.
And what I did to then make this almost like a stringing necklace part of it is if I turn this over, my first one, my biggest one, I put my necklace on top like that, and then I place another piece of that, and that just keeps it there, and that makes it really strong. But it's so lightweight, isn't it? You know, when you
do you know, it really is. And I'll tell you what the great thing about this is, it's so comfortable to wear. You've got a big piece of jewellery here, a very eye-catching piece of jewellery here, but it's really, really lightweight, and there aren't many pieces of jewellery you can actually boast that about. And I love this because if you don't want to wear loads of scarves and things like that, but you love fabrics and you love colour, you could just wear something like this. See how it just lifts the outfit? I love it, Natalia. I think it's gorgeous.
You could go the whole hog. If you wanted to go really London Fashion Week catwalk, you could have flowers all the way around the neckline in different sizes, and it would be great. What I've done here is I've used 3 pieces of the sari ribbon, and I've just used some of the bezel wire.
You just wrap
it around, and that stays in place really well.
Pinching it in to keep it in place?
Yeah, and I've just knotted it. It really stays in place nicely. So I haven't added cord ends. You can use cord ends if you want to, but I just thought it was nice because then it's adjustable. You can have it really high up, like a choker style, or you can have it lower.
I got to say that is very comfortable actually, because I just thought, I'm just going to feel that, see how it feels again. But I didn't even feel it. I didn't even notice it when I put it up against my neck just then.
It's nice.
Brilliant.
It looks great.
Now,
okay.
Love these earrings.
So
where do we go next?
Shall we have a look at the earrings? Let's do that.
I'd love to do that.
So we have a pair of earrings that are so simple, and all I did to make those is I rolled my circle
in exactly the same way we saw earlier,
and I just literally folded it into a little shape like that, which makes it like this almost like a little acorn shell shape.
Yeah.
And I'll show you one that I've dried out here.
It's like a foxglove.
Yes, it is actually like a little trumpet flower.
I love those. Yes.
And so you want to make sure that you've got a hole at the top because you're going to put an eye pin through there. So when that's fired, this is what it looks like.
Wow, but you've not only fired it, you've also put it in the pickling, haven't you?
Put it in the pickling, and I just give it a quick, and you can see you don't even need to polish it because the brushing actually brings the luster up on the copper really nicely.
So rustic looking.
It is, and I haven't really done, you know, I haven't done my, I'm going to obsessively tidy this piece within an inch of its life.
No, keep it rustic, I think.
It's quite organic looking, definitely. So there's my fired piece. So those are quick and easy to make. I call it the quick and dirty earrings. And would you be able to pass me a gold eye pin, please?
Certainly.
Glamorous assistant. Oh. I knew there's something that I would forget to do.
I don't think I can get back up, that's the problem.
I know, that's why I asked you to do it, because I knew that I wouldn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to use...
Head pins or eye pins?
Eye pins, please. We're going to use some of the beautiful sari silk that is cut into squares, and you can see all of the different colours you get, and I think each pack is different because this is the one that I got sent to me, and then the one that we've got in the studio sample, you can see we've got this lovely apple green and then this patterns, so I think it's going to be a little bit of a surprise as to what kind of colours and things. Oh, marvellous, thank you, darling. Different colours that you get. So what I chose was, are you all right there? Do you need a hand up? I'm very impressed with the speed at which you came back up again.
I'm in practice.
Now, what I used to cut these little circles with is I just used my monofilament spool.
What are you calling these earrings?
Little flower, trumpet flower
Yeah, well, I was just
earrings.
thinking, what are they, like little pansies, aren't they?
I think so.
Aren't they cute?
Okay, so what I did was I took my monofilament and the little spool that it comes in, it was the perfect size for creating a circle.
Oh.
So I just put that down on a piece of the silk and I drew around it with my white pencil, and then I cut these shapes out. And I've used two contrasting colours. It's up to you. It looks really good with the two colours because you get that lovely...
I like these two together.
Aren't they great?
But
the fact is that all the colours that you get in this pack, they all go together so beautifully. They really do. Look at that together.
I know, I was going to say, those are amazing
blue.
together, aren't they?
So this is how we're going to incorporate this into the earrings. So you gave me the eye pins. So just taking an eye pin, and I'll start with my lighter colour on the inside. But it's up to you how you want to do it, but I prefer the lighter colour on the inside, and then I'm just gently pushing that through the centre of there. Oh. And the reason I'm not using a head pin is because the head pin can possibly come through, so the eye pin's got a bigger surface area. And then I'm going to do the same with this darker colour. I'm just going to puncture the centre of the silk, so it looks like a little skirt, isn't it? And then,
I love it. It's reminding me of something I've done. Oh,
like Spanish dancer.
Do you know? Yeah, these are like little can-can dancers, aren't they?
They are. They're cute. And so what you then do is take your eye pin up through the centre of the metal clay piece. You can see the little hole at the top.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pull it. I'm going to get my pliers to do this. So you can.
You don't want to pull it all the way through.
You don't want to pull it all the way through, and so you'll feel that you've got to the top.
You can feel the tension of it, can't you?
Yeah. And so you've got this little skirt going on there. So you might decide that actually I really like that because that makes a lovely big flower.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
And makes a bit more of a statement than these ones, these little ones. If you prefer, you can just get a pair of really sharp scissors and just trim. These aren't as sharp as the ones I was using at home, but you get the idea. So you can have...
so it can be a little bit more understated because they're still quite wow factor earrings, aren't they?
And then there you go. I quite like it like that, actually. And just fluff it until you have it exactly how you want it.
How pretty.
So it's cute, and I think that would look lovely as a necklace as well. If you made these slightly bigger, you could
put quite a few of them.
Yes, and they would have them at different levels, so that would look interesting.
How fab. Now, Natalia.
So we've got one final piece to make.
And what we're talking about here is creating that bezel setting. In fact, the backing here, it's for bezeling, is your copper bezel, but sorry, it's bronze, isn't it? You get a metre of that bronze. So I just said it and I thought, it wasn't copper, was it? It was bronze, and it came with your sari silk kit that I just gave to you. So Natalia, talk me through. Oh, we've only got 20 of those left whilst we are live here on the 25th of September. They are very, very 26th. Oh, where does it go? Where does it go?
We always forget what date it is.
It's Boxing Day soon.
Oh goodness.
3 months today.
Okay,
Right,
so
I say that to annoy Ryan.
I'm going to set my station up again. So I've got my 6 playing cards thickness, a little bit of balm on my Teflon. And so I want to roll a rectangular shape. So that's what I'm going to do. So get my copper clay, it's already conditioned. You're enjoying the feel of the sari silk, aren't you?
I'm smelling
It's very tactile.
You know me. Do you know, and actually Ben's loving it as well, look. He's got his little Super Ted scarf on.
Came undone.
Did it?
Super Ted.
You look like Super Ted with that on.
So what I'm doing is I'm rolling this piece of clay into this long, whoops, see the cards do move around for me. Into this
did
long,
you not tape them, or
I
did you?
didn't tape one of them together.
Oh, it's a rascal, isn't it?
It is. It's exposed the fact that I haven't put the sellotape on there.
She's not the desperate housewife we all
I'm
thought
not as obsessive as you think I am. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some texture. So we've got.
Oh, I love your texture sheets. Those are available, by the way, on the website, and these are put together at the finest quality. They're the red style of rubber, aren't they? Which is the finest quality, and put together especially for materials that to withstand heat, clays, anything like that. They're fabulous. We've got the shape template kit at the bottom of your sheet with this textured sheet in.
Okay, so I've put lots of balm on my texture sheet.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just press this down onto the clay that I've just rolled out. And just pressing gently, you don't want to press too hard because you don't want to spread the clay out too far, but you want to press just firmly enough that you're going to get a good impression. So rather than take the piece of rubber off straight away, I'm just going to lift the edge and make sure that I've done this before, so I think I've probably got it down to a fine art now.
Is this a new one?
That's the peacock one. The peacock passion one.
Why have I
not seen that? Yes,
obviously I inspired this design.
You did, yeah. You have to see some designs that I did with that one.
Oh, hang on, I tried to steal a peacock off you, but it was shrink plastic.
Yes, that's right. No, you can't have that one.
I wasn't allowed it. She was very, I was like, oh,
I thought, you know,
it
took me hours to make that peacock. I thought I lost it in Philadelphia, but me and the peacock were reunited. It was a very beautiful
that peacock,
reunion.
Especially after the battering you gave me when I tried to steal it.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, if you have a look at the finished pendant here, you can see what I've done is I've cut a curved shape. So all you do to achieve that effect is taking a blade. You can do this with a playing card as well.
What about my polymer clay blade? Will that work?
You could do that with that because that bends. So I'm just
What's
bending
that
it.
Is it special?
It's just like the polymer clay blade. So I'm just bending that and cutting, and then doing the same there at the top. Oops. Ooh. I always do that when I'm doing it live. And then I'm going to do again the same on the ends. So we've got, it's almost like a smiley face shape.
You're making it more uniform by using this cutter, aren't you?
Yes, definitely. And then I want to, doesn't look so great, does it? That's better. And you can shape it after it's dried. It's not the end of the world. And I've got a big polymer clay roller, and what I did was to create this kind of domed effect is to just place it to dry.
What about the clay roller that I got in my starter kit?
That's
Will that
a little
do
bit
the same
small.
Thing?
You
Okay,
can use a rolling pin in your kitchen or anything that's long and curved. So again, set that to dry on there. Leave it for about an hour, I would say, in the open air. Don't put it in your oven or in a hot plate because it will melt.
Okay.
And then once it's set in that shape, you can then speed dry it.
Okay.
And I have a piece that it has dried.
So for an hour?
And then 3 hours after that to get it really thoroughly dry. So that piece is nice and dry now. You can see it's dried in that curved shape. I haven't refined that yet, so I would do all my refining before I attach my bezel wire, but let's just assume that I've done all of my refining.
Okay, I'm pretending.
and cut off a piece of bezel wire. And
with
then
scissors or with?
With scissors, yes, it's perfectly
It's fine
acceptable
with-
to cut
oh,
it with
okay.
It's actually easier to cut it with scissors.
Is it?
And then what I did was I made this little, it's almost like a Napoleon's hat
Chevron,
shape. Can you see?
Yeah.
So I just used my round nose pliers to create a curve in the middle, and then my flat nose pliers to make these little feet on the ends. And then I'm going to position, so I want 2 of those, so I want 1 at each end, like we have on here, because that's where your ribbon is going to pass through. And I'm going to show you very quickly how to make a paste. So this is just a piece of the clay that we rolled out earlier, and I've got some water in my water pen. I'm just squeezing some out onto a plain card, and I'm just wetting the clay, and it makes this sticky kind of grout type slip, and that's what we're going to use to attach.
Oh, it's like bricklaying.
It is, it's really fun. And this hydrates
girls.
really, it hydrates really easily and quickly. So even if it dries out on your playing card, as soon as you add water, you can get it back to that state. So I'm going to put a little bit on the ends there,
Oh, I like this.
like that. And I'm just using a modelling tool to do this. You could use your water pen.
So it's like pasting it on, aren't you?
Pasting it on, and then just put a little bit on there and on there. And then use my water pen just to smooth it in and cover up the metal. So get that all nice and even. And then if needs be, you may need to apply 1 or 2 more layers just to make it very secure, but that once it's all dried, when you fire it, it will fire in place and you have one piece.
And it will be secure enough.
It's
I mean, because
really
this
secure.
is uber secure.
It actually looks like it's part of the
It
seamless
does indeed.
join, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that's what you get when you use the paste on there.
Just to let you know, during the live show, we are now down to less than 10 of the Sari Silk bundle. So maybe we've turned on a new light for you with Sari Silk today. Maybe you're looking at Natalia's designs and just in love with them. Mixing mediums is such a hot thing to do right now. Everybody's doing it. And you know what? If you're card making, you can add little embellishments with things like Sari Silks. If you're doing any other crafts, combine them together, because it's wonderful to do that, isn't it?
It's so much fun and colourful. It's wonderful.
So let's have one last look at everything that we've been creating today. Of course, we just saw that fabulous pendant design with the green pendant. Who isn't in love with the flowers with those buttons in the middle? And who isn't now thinking of getting that old blazer out of their wardrobe and just making it look like something from Jules or Bowden or one of those fabulous country stores? You know what I mean? When they just, because that's what it's the shabby chic look at the moment. Everybody's doing it.
Upcycling. It's just like turning things into your, what is it, trash into treasure?
Yeah, I love this. I love and just just recreating old outfits and things like that. It's so wonderful. Remember the ring? Don't forget that. And you know what? We are very, very low in stock. And everything that we've brought you in this hour so far, please don't forget us on our wall of fame. Send your entries once you've started to create to studio@jewellerymaker.com. Doing so at any stage of your jewellery making encourages others that are beginning. So please don't think that you have to wait until you're brilliant at something, because really we love to see you right from the beginning stages, and together, you know, we can do it. And I do think people are thinking, oh, I want to do this, I'm not going to show anybody until I'm ready. But really remember, it's so important to keep putting your pieces on our Facebook page, asking questions. Natalia is available very often on Facebook. So click and like our Facebook page and be inspired further by Natalia's wonderful designs. You can go and check out Linda and Sheila's designs also. They have used Sari Silk, as have quite a few of our different designers. Let us know how you feel about it. Now this masterclass, of course, today on the 26th of September is live, and we are very low in stock. If you're watching a repeat on the Jewellery Maker channel, it's likely that we do have stock of things, so please do try. Whenever you buy from us here at Jewellery Maker, you receive a 30-day money-back guarantee on absolutely everything. You can get yourself on that free phone number if you're dialing from the UK. It's 0800 644 655. You can also shop with us online. It's jewellerymaker.com. Use your debit card or your credit card. Natalia, thank you so very much.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Don't forget us. We need to see your designs. It's so lovely to see your progressions. Thank you so much for tuning in to this wonderful masterclass. We have another masterclass up for you at 2 o'clock tomorrow, so tune in for that. I think we've got and we've got the late show tonight. Who's that with? With Fee. Hello, Fee, if you're watching, darling. Now, do tune in for that, Fee, at 5. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye.